Mayor Holstedge, thank you so much for being out here with me today. Palm Springs has been such a great supporter of Find Food Bank through the years, with making sure that food insecurity, not just in the city of Palm Springs, but throughout the Coachella Valley Desert region, that we are doing something about it, because it's just not acceptable for people to wonder where their next meal is coming from in our area. And thank you for joining me tonight to celebrate Hunger Action Month. All through September, 849 will be donating a portion of their proceeds of this wonderful cocktail, the 849 cocktail, to Find Food Bank in order to be able to support our operations at the food bank. So thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so proud to support Find Food Bank and all the essential work you do for our community. I'm just so proud to work in partnership with you. I know when the COVID pandemic started, we gave you a call and you instantly jumped. I think a week later, you had a mass distribution site at our convention center. You've been doing our mobile access sites in Desert Highlands, mobile food drives. We know a lot of people in our community in Palm Springs, throughout the valley, have experienced food insecurity and need services from Find Food Bank. And so I've been blown away by the numbers of people that you've served in Palm Springs at the convention center. So your work is just so impressive. And I think everything we can do as residents of Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley to donate, to support your work, to volunteer, to drink cocktails, it couldn't be easier to support Find Food Bank.
Well, what is interesting, and I think something that I'd love to share with people about the city of Palm Springs, is that the support that you've given us in so many ways. I mean, you've named them, the mobile pantries, the mobile markets, and then supporting us when, the pandemic hit, and we experienced at that mass distribution site of food over 1,000 cars coming each distribution for almost an entire year. What I think is wonderful about the city of Palm Springs is that they've recognized that it wasn't just during the time of the pandemic that people needed help, but it's in the recovery too as well, because it takes time for a community to rebuild after what we've gone through. And you've been there with us every step of the way, and you yourself being a huge advocate, as well as all of the city council members just supporting us and coming when we've needed help and responding to that action. Right now, Find is serving about 150,000 people on average every month still. And we're still not back down to pre-pandemic levels of about 90,000 people on average every month. So We're still about 60% higher than where we were at before, and that's the importance of Hunger Action Month. We need to call attention to food insecurity in our desert. We need to call attention to the fact that we still have some recovery to go. And all of the support that the city of Palm Springs has given us and can continue to give us is appreciated.
Thank you for your work. Those numbers are just incredible, and we know the need is there, and sometimes it's faceless, that people we know in our community have food insecurity, might need assistance through the food banks that you provide. And so I know it's really important to talk about the need for food and access to healthy food, instability and insecurity in our region, because you see Palm Springs, sometimes you think that everyone here is wealthy or well off, but actually we have a lot of seniors on fixed incomes, we have a lot of people with disabilities or chronic conditions, we have a lot of low-wage workers who are working 2 jobs, still need help feeding their families. So the work that you've done to work with the schools to distribute food during this time, it's just truly impressive, and I know all of our residents in Palm Springs will be so glad to have this opportunity to talk about Hunger Action Week and to take action by dining at local restaurants.
Right.
And coming here at 849, we're so grateful. 849's been such a community partner and is offering this opportunity to donate proceeds of this cocktail to Find Food Bank.
So one of the great things about what we're doing this year for Hunger Action Month is we're partnering with 14 different local restaurants. And for Find, we don't just look at ending hunger for today through all of our distribution sites of food going out to people. We also look at trying to end hunger for a lifetime. And that has to do with the root causal work of hunger. Economic stability, financial stability, helping people move from dependence on the food bank into independence. For us, what we love about this Hunger Action Month and the restaurants calling attention with us to food insecurity is that by people coming out and supporting Find Food Bank by purchasing a cocktail or a menu item, it's also supporting our local restaurants keep stable jobs and be stable local businesses so people can continue to be independent and be able to feed themselves. So for us, there's an importance behind that. We want to be able to keep them from going to the line as well as serve them if they do have to come to our line.
That's such important work. I'm glad you're addressing the root causes in the community. And we have 300 restaurants in Palm Springs and growing, 45,000 residents who want to come and dine and support your work. So we're so excited to celebrate this Hunger Action Month with you and do all that we can to promote awareness and help raise funds for Find Food Bank.
And the city of Palm Springs is lighting up in orange too as well, and we're very thankful for that, just to be able to draw more attention. The Rowan Hotel is lighting up in orange, along with all of the other 8 major cities here, as well as 29 Palms we just found out up in the high desert too as well.
That's
so
incredible.
Thank you for doing that as well.
That's incredible. It really shows the level of community support you have. And I think that we've learned through this pandemic especially that we're all in this together, that we have to support local businesses, which support local workers, provide long-term good-paying jobs to people so that they aren't, dependent on benefits and are able to, help escape poverty. So your work is doing that every single day, and we're just so grateful for it.
So one of the things about Hunger Action Month this year that we really are trying to call people's attention to are the difficult choices that people have to make. And a lot of the times people assume that if you're food insecure, you don't have a job. What 90% of our people that come to our food distribution lines, they all are working individuals. But they may not be working full-time right now. Their hours still may be cut because of the recovery of the pandemic. Or cost of living continues to increase in the state of California, and so trying to make ends meet can be a struggle and they need a little extra help. That the people in line are constantly having to make choices. When you are food insecure, you're constantly having to make choices about whether or not you're going to pay your utility bills or buy food, whether or not you have enough money to pay for childcare or pay for food, whether you can afford the medicine that you need to stay healthy so you can go to a job or pay for food. And we don't want them to have to make those choices. In the U.S., we have so much abundance of food that we should be able to share with our friends and neighbors that are struggling so they don't have to choose between those items and being able to simply eat.
I completely agree. No one should make those choices in the city of Palm Springs or the Coachella Valley. So we're fully committed to raising awareness and funds for you for Hunger Action Month and looking forward to continuing our partnership for years and years to come and expanding your services in our region.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you. Oh, these are good.
It's really good.